Give her.
Start recording. Oh, hey. Hi, everybody.
Howdy.
We did the news today. That was fun.
We did.
We did do the news.
Twice.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm taking over.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Trailer Puck Boys podcast.
That's Mike. There's Justin. He's enjoying his hamburger. What kind of hamburger do you have there, Justin?
Yeah, really.
It's
Baconator, yeah.
Wendy's, a classic Baconator. Can't go wrong.
So every episode I'm gonna keep eating Wendy's.
I just took a bite of my hamburger. Oh,
Just keep eating Wendy's until they
that
sponsor
Dave's
us.
double with cheese combo meal.
But yeah, anyway, let's get to the actual topics today.
I didn't even get to introduce myself, you asshole.
Yeah, that's Tyler. Whatever.
I'm Looper. Tyler for Loop.
Looper. What kind of hamburger do you have there, Looper?
Double cheeseburger.
Awesome.
Get this.
Awesome.
Plain.
Oh.
Combo. Iced tea to
That's
drink.
gross. Anyway,
You didn't even fucking buy it.
I couldn't afford anything. All right, let's start with the same thing we always start with. Start the flames again.
Fuck it. I am sick of it.
Well, what?
I am sick of it.
We live in
Now
Alberta.
we'll like better hockey teams.
Yeah,
Oh.
God, get with it. Anyway, so Flame season review. What do you guys think about how we played so far this year? Give us a grade. And what do you guys think?
Hey,
Dude, in terms of regular Flames play, I'm going A+. They had a wicked season this year. Finished top of their division. Like, that hasn't happened in a long time. Like, that's pretty impressive for the Flames. It's a young group, but I think, dang, like, heckin' good job this year.
I think.
watch your mouth.
No profanity.
No
Fuck that.
profanity.
I think
Watching your profanity.
I think last year I gave them like a D. So I think this year giving them an A, I think is a lot better because just the improvement this team had in the last year, especially after that whole trade with Dougie Hamilton, people thought that might have been a bad trade for them. But honestly, I think that was a pretty good trade for them. Obviously, they won the trade. Dougie's starting to heat up in Carolina right now, so I think that's going to help. But Ferland has not been that good this year.
And Adam Fox won't resign there.
And
so
Adam Fox will not resign there, so there goes the prospect in that deal. Lindholm has 77 points, I believe. And Hannafin is still a young defenseman who's going to get better. So I give them an A. One place I would not give them an A is goaltending. I'd give it a C+.
I think Colorado will be giving them the D to this series too.
No, they will not.
Excuse me?
They're going to win in 5. Like, what are you talking about?
I would give Flames goaltending a B. B for big save, Dave.
Okay, that's
I'll
fine.
give their forwards an A. I'll give their defense a B, and their goalies a C. You know, that stands for ABC. Anybody but Calgary. Fuck you guys.
You're way too aggressive.
I'm angry,
All right,
man.
so just because we did the Flames, let's
It's
do the Oilers.
okay, Tyler.
Let's talk about the Oilers.
Yeah, let's talk about the Oilers now. So
The Oilers will not waste away Connor McDavid's career when they trade him for a third-round pick.
It's not.
or they trade him for like
It's all right.
when they trade him for like Carlson or something, because they love trading for just straight up D's.
It's not happening.
Anyway, let's give the
No,
Oilers
no,
a
no,
grade.
please. They won't trade for Carlson. They'll trade for I don't know, Kevin Bieksa,
Mark Stone.
Mark Stone.
He's
There
not
you
even in
go.
the fucking league anymore.
That's an Edmonton problem, man.
Here we go. So Connor McDavid for Michael Stone. How's that sound, boys? Anyway.
All right, bye, Tyler.
Anyway, let's give the Oilers a grade, and then we'll talk about their matchup this week. And
F's in the chat.
That's in the
we're
chat.
giving him an F. Tyler
How did
Verlo, giving him an F.
I
Oilers
don't
expert?
really follow Edmonton, to be completely honest. Like, did they start off good this year?
They started off decent, but they
They were
just
500.
collapsed. Yeah.
Because, I know for a while there, they were on the streak where they were in a playoff spot for a while. And then, I don't know what happened, but it just went downhill fast. I'm not really sure at what point it went downhill.
It's the rise and fall of goaltending, honestly.
Yeah.
Koskinen had like a 15-game heater and then plummeted back down to where he's been for the rest of the season.
I saw a fantastic tweet about Koskinen, and it was like a joke, obviously, and it was from the point of view of Peter Chiarelli and Koskinen's agent, and he's like, Koskinen's agent's like, yeah, we're looking for, I don't know, say $3 million overall, and then Chiarelli's like, best I can do is 5 per year, and they're like, that's Holtby money, holy shit, we got him. I don't remember it word for word, but I had a good laugh about it.
For what we had, I'll give the players like a B. excluding McDavid, obviously. Him and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins carried the team as far as they could. The management deserves an F. Their whole management, top to bottom, F. Get them out of here. We need something new in here. McDavid's pissed off. You're going to piss him off even more. He's going to demand a trade. We need to fix this now.
100%.
I would give
And
their.
I don't think that's I don't think McDavid would be the only one to go in that situation too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's quite a few people that are pissed off with management in Edmonton right now that are going to be leaving.
All right. So I made a bet earlier this week with Tyler for $97, and
We're going to keep talking.
podcast going.
Podcast going on. Shut up.
Anyway.
We're important. Pay attention to us. For $97, if Connor McDavid requests a trade or does not sign in Edmonton, Tyler will owe me $97. And if he stays in Edmonton, excuse me, I had the hiccups.
I will own him $97.
Own him, man.
Yes.
Own him.
For $97. Yes.
Anyway, so I'm gonna give some grades towards Edmonton here. I think their offense deserves a B, like you said, but I'm basing that solely on the fact that Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and McDavid have had fantastic years. If without them, I would give them a D because the rest of the team's been awful.
I give them a C and rip out those guys.
Mm.
They did not do well this year.
Exactly. That's why I said D.
Oh, you said D?
Yeah, I did not say B.
I heard B.
I
I'm
said
like, what
B
the
with
fuck are
them.
you smoking?
B with them, D without them. Anyway, I would give their defense. I'd give it a C plus. I think it hasn't been the greatest, but like hasn't been terrible. Like I'd give their goaltending.
This is the best fucking breakfast of all time,
Oh my
boys.
god.
This is breakfast.
For me, it is.
It's
noon.
I had a yogurt bar and 2 hash
I
browns
had an apple.
and a
Dude,
hot
this-
chocolate.
This is breakfast for me, bro.
Anyway,
Damn, dude.
I'd give their goaltending. I'd give it a C minus. I think Costin was mediocre at best.
Yeah.
That
Koskinen,
worries me for next year.
How old is Koskinen?
30.
Yeah.
31.
Holy
Like,
fuck! Can
I-
you sign him for 3 years?
That's what I'm saying.
But
And he got
next
signed the
year,
day
like,
before
what do we-
Shirley got fired.
So what's going to happen in Edmonton next year for goaltending situations? Because Koskinen's got 3 more years, 2 more
Stellaris
years.
is not ready.
He's not a bad tandem goalie. He can't be the starter playing over
He's
50
just
games.
old.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But he's played 24 of the last 25
But-
games.
That's what I'm saying. He's burnt out.
He's
Do
just
you
old.
think Edmonton will take a hit though and just try to find another goalie in the offseason?
I think so. Like we'll look at like what Boston did, Halak and Rask, or Leonard and Grice.
Here's
Yeah.
the problem, though.
We don't have
Koskinen
much-
is not Halak or Grace.
We need a Halak
But that's
or
the thing.
Grice.
Like we talked about it already. Like Koskinen had a fire season for like 15 games or something like that. Like he's capable of playing to like the top standards of goaltending, but he's just
not that
he's
duration.
not that. Yeah, he's not in that situation right now where he can like.
Mhm.
And I personally, I don't know. I just don't think you can blame that all on the goalies.
No, it's
like,
defense.
Defense is slacking at Edmonton. I think off season is going to be definitely some changes for Edmonton this
Who's
year.
Edmonton's most name-worthy defenseman?
Oscar Clefbaum.
The way you said that, Oscar.
Oscar Clefbaum, I'll have you know.
I mean, I'd give their coaching. Getting to the year, I'd give their coaching a D minus. But Ken Hedgecock's done a pretty solid job with this.
For
team.
what he has.
Yeah,
It's
Ken
the
Hitchcock
roster.
has done
It's not
it.
The
coaching.
roster's just tough.
I think, yeah,
And
I think
there's going to be
Hedgecock.
some changes in the offseason.
I
this
hope
year,
so.
think.
Don't
Mikey.
be surprised.
Yeah, my fries.
I do want your
You
fries.
poor boy.
Just
Thanks,
basically because like Edmonton had such a long and hard trip to get to a roster that they're at now, and like they're still seeing no progress whatsoever.
We want to know what happened. We traded Everly for a 30-point scorer in Strome.
Oh,
We
he's playing better
downgraded
than your
Strome to like a 10-point player. And now we got Gagne, who's got 5 points of us, but he's also 30-something.
Yeah.
It's just continuous downgrades of skill.
Um,
Why not keep... I get it. Everly was a 60-point right wing, but at $6 million. Don't downgrade to a 30-point third-line center. Get some skill back or get a D-man. And then trading Hall for license. You can't... Like, he had 80 points his last season here. How are you going to replace that production of Milan Lucic?
Yeah.
50 points in his first year. He's got, like, 15 on the season right now. $6 million for a fucking enforcer? It's just continuous downgrades at every position. Shirley, fuck this team for the next year or two. Whoever comes in.
it's gonna be longer than a year.
No,
or two.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about
You
that.
underestimate
I
our
think,
top players. We have our top guys.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
You
I
are-
think, dude, just look at how, far Draisaitl and McDavid carried that team this year alone with just the two of them.
Yeah, but they still didn't make the playoffs.
It
Doesn't matter. It's a
Doesn't
team
matter.
game.
They're still going to keep going with it, and I
You're
think they're
telling me
still going to
if
keep
we get
playing at that
another
rate.
top 6 forward that they're not going to both produce at that same
How
level?
many top 6 forwards have they drafted?
See, but that's the thing.
Yeah, that's driving them.
Okay,
I
but we
think
also
that's
have been
the point.
improving our drafting lately.
At this point, I think they're just gonna do what a lot of other teams are doing, and they're gonna go for more of the younger, fast, like the up and coming prospects and the up and coming players, like Calgary has been doing this year, and that's why they're so good. They have like the Mangiapanis, the Derek
That's what we
Ryans.
need. We got some
They
coming
have the no-name players that are working as hard as they possibly can
to
to
keep
make us
stay up in the
name,
NHL
yeah.
at a cheap price.
And I think
And
Edmonton's
we got
gonna keep doing that too.
And right now we have veterans in the bottom 6 who are complacent and happy that they're there and just making money. They don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But we got some prospects coming. And like our AHL team went on a 17-game winning streak. We also have the top leading scorer in the AHL right now. We're going to draft the forward more than likely in this draft. I think we're going to get a top 3 spot because we're lucky like that.
Yeah.
Even if we don't, we're sitting 8th last. So we'll either stay at number 8, win the lottery, or move back 2 spots. Still a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good forwards available. The number 2, what was I going to say? You mentioned something about all these teams going to fast, skilled hockey. We had that team in 2015. If you think about it, we had the 16th pick. We could have had Hall, McDavid, Everly, Draisaitl, potentially Matt Barzal with number 16, Nugent Hopkins.
They just
He
they just
threw it all
fucked
away.
up. Yeah, he threw it all away.
We didn't need Larson. We had Klefbom. We had Nurse. A couple of years, and those guys would have progressed. Maybe trade Everly for a D-man. We still would have been fine. And now look at, I don't understand Shirley's thinking there when speed and skill is the new way to play hockey, and we completely flipped and went backwards.
Yeah.
That's
no,
what
for
fucked
sure.
us so bad.
And the thing is too is that team was looking fairly decent before all those moves happened, and man, Edmonton fans pissed off,
And rightfully so.
rightfully
Yeah.
so.
I've been pissed off since
you-
2006.
Yeah, they literally screwed their team over to a point where they could have made playoffs and had playoff runs, but you screwed your team over, and now you're fighting just to not be last in the league again.
This management team does not deserve Connor McDavid. The fans do. 13
For
out of
sure.
14 seasons, and we're still selling out. We deserve this player. The fucking management needs to pick their shit up. Enough is enough. How is Daryl Katz, the owner, sitting back and watching this shit show and not caring because people are filling the seats?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the one thing I will say about the Oilers is they haven't drafted bad. Every single draft seems like they pick up a pretty solid
Because
player.
they get the first pick.
Every year, yeah. But they just mismanage their stars. I think they get
See, that's the thing though. It's they get these first picks, but sooner or later that they're gonna get one first pick, and it's gonna set off like a domino effect. And Edmonton is gonna be one of the
Good.
top teams in the league for quite a few years.
I think McDavid's going to get a cup. One cup at very least.
yeah,
It depends
I
what's
think
going to
so.
happen.
I
When's
would
it's
easily.
going to happen, though? I think we probably will miss next year, but I will not count out McDavid. If he gets a little bit of scoring support, our defense can hold teams off a bit. We need goaltending to help. If we improve our defense, our goaltending will get better, obviously.
Honestly, I think the player that you guys want right now, I don't think you want number 1. I think you want number 2. I think you guys want Kakko. That's it.
I wouldn't care if we got number 2, number 3, or number 1. Even number 3, Bowen Byram, he is sick.
So here's my question: would you take Cousins?
At number 3,
Not number 3, number 4.
if he
5.
dropped, or if we finished that low,
Mhm.
I would. He's a right shot center. I don't want any more lefties.
See, that's the thing that
If you
guys
think about the
don't-
power play, we've had so many left-handed shots on our power play. We need a righty that can score.
I saw this the other day. I don't think you guys need another center. Your first line center is McDavid.
No, we need wingers.
Yeah, you guys need wingers for sure. So it's McDavid, Draisaitl, and then Nugent Hopkins on your third line. That's how it goes.
And right now, we've been playing one of those two on the wing because we don't have the winger depth. You're gonna be playing McDavid with a Alex Chase on Toby Reeder. What do you?
Oh, speaking of Toby
Oh,
Reeder,
nothing. Don't worry about it.
No, come on.
No, it's fine.
Anyway,
My dad retweeted it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hockey dad.
anyway. Yeah, I think you guys need Kako. I think, honestly, I would consider trading Nugent Hopkins for a right wing.
I would too. That Wiener needs to be young and have term and a decent cap hit. And whoever comes in, you got to get creative with moving money out. Find a buyer for Chris Russell. Ottawa might even take money back.
Dude,
For
Ottawa.
nothing. If we include like a
Ottawa's
prospect,
struggling. Ottawa needs some help.
if we give them a prospect and ask them to take Lucic or Russell, they
Yeah.
might be stupid enough to fucking do it.
So you guys.
Hey,
I'm
Ottawa,
trying to
listen
think
to
who
this.
else would take Russell though. That's the thing.
Some teams have had. He's not. Some teams like what they have him on. He's just
I
$4
don't
million.
think- Yeah, I
Arizona
don't think
could
he's
take
that bad of a player. I think he's a pretty decent player.
Oh,
I
he's
just think
awesome.
they're paying too much for what he's giving them right now.
I would say he's a number 5 D man. He can't
Yeah.
pass for shit, but he can block shots and he can
I
log
have an
minutes.
idea.
I still think he's a decent defender.
He's an NHL D man.
Yeah.
He's
I have
an
an idea
NHL
for a trade for
goalie
Nugent
playing
Hopkins.
defense.
Hear me out here. I have an idea for Nugent Hopkins trade.
Yeah.
Go for Arizona's Clayton Keller.
He won't get moved. He won't get
He
moved.
won't get moved, but if you
Not
want
to
to try,
Arizona.
if you want to try that, you could try that. Though.
We could try it. John Chaika's not that dumb.
He's not that dumb, but you can consider it.
You
though.
you could propose it. I would propose that, but they won't move him. He's their highest scoring player.
Can you imagine Keller and McDavid?
Oh,
in
that'd be
the same line?
phenomenal.
That'd be fantastic.
But you know how teams are now. They're keeping their young players.
Nugent Hopkins for like
I love the Nugent.
Hamonic for no, okay, we're not gonna do that. I think it's time to move on from this. Just talk about the game that's coming up on Saturday. I know Justin's for sure going. I know we're trying to get tickets for it, but
We got a lot of homework.
a lot of homework.
Actually, I don't know if I am anymore.
No.
No, I think her parents are gonna take
Do you
the
want to just
tickets
have a
at this
watch party?
point.
Do you want to just have a watch party?
That's what I was thinking too. I was
Maybe.
gonna suggest
Trailer
that.
Park
Do
Boys.
a little roadie. Go to a Flames bar.
God, hell no.
Little roadie.
Well, maybe like in Lethbridge, go to like AJ's or something.
Yeah,
Like
And then after the game, do like a Trailer Park Boys podcast. That'd be cool.
for sure.
that. Like a recap of the game.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
So let's do predictions for the game.
Oh,
tonight.
I had
That's on
a
Saturday.
bit.
I have all the matchups if playoffs were going to start today.
Okay.
I have all the matchups right here.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so we're back to Tampa and Columbus.
Oh,
man.
Columbus.
Last time-
Yeah, Columbus is
Last-
taking
Columbus
over.
in 4.
They're tied for points with Montreal, but Columbus does have the tiebreaker. So
Oh, yeah, right.
Columbus, Tampa. Who's taking that?
Tampa in 5 or 6.
I'm gonna say Tampa in 5.
Tampa in 5.
I'm gonna go with what they said. I don't know if Hedman's back yet, but they are getting their guys
He's
healthy.
supposed to come back. before
Strawman
playoffs.
came back recently. They're ready.
Yeah.
It's their time.
Man, I wanted to go Columbus. I feel like Columbus.
They had a
come out
few-
strong.
They are heating
but
up though.
Bobrovsky had like
And
a
Bobrovsky-
couple of
just,
shutouts
yeah,
and 4
just
in a
look at
week
the
last
the
week.
last 3 games against Tampa for Tampa over Columbus though. Like the first meeting on October 13th, 8-2 Tampa, like brutal, and then 4-0, then 5-1. All Tampa wins. Like Columbus is gonna be.
It's hard to
tough.
match up with Tampa.
I think Columbus is still gonna win 1 or 2, but I think overall Tampa's gonna take the series.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then the first round classic, Boston-Toronto.
Boston, baby.
Toronto.
Toronto in 7.
I'm going Toronto this year.
Boston in 6.
I'm going Toronto at 7 this year.
No.
No, I'm not. I'm going Boston at 6.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Boston's
are.
strong right now,
I'm going
and
with-
they're gonna keep it that way. I think.
Well, boss, I'm gonna go Toronto in 7.
You're gonna go
Really?
Boston?
No, I'm gonna go Toronto in 7. I think Jake Gardner coming back is gonna be a huge thing for them coming into the playoff run here, and I think that the goalies for Boston, Rask is on a downhill slide right now. He was like top.
See, that's the thing though. Is Rask always seems to pick up in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the season for Rask is like the last couple of games are always a little rough for him, but as soon as playoff starts, like he is on top
And
of
Freddie
his
Anderson's
game.
hit or miss.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is like Rask is when he's on, he's on. There's nothing getting past him.
I love
And like
Go ahead.
Boston's got some strong defense, and I think Boston's gonna take it.
I have another idea for these predictions. We should talk about an X factor for each team as well.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll add one for this. Josh, what's your opinion
X
on
factor.
that series?
Yeah, you haven't even said anything.
Which one?
Boston, Toronto.
Boston in 6.
Why?
Because Toronto is
What
gonna
do you
have
Toronto forward.
Toronto's got Boston in their heads, like since forever.
I agree. And the last 2 playoff series that Toronto's been in with Washington and Boston, Matthews hasn't shown up. But that may change this time around because Tavares is going to go head to head against Bergeron's line.
So that takes pressure off.
Dude, that's my.
That'll open up Matthews. We'll see if Krejci can
But
go
the
at
bad thing
Matthews.
about that, though, is Bacchus is on that second line. And Bacchus could, if he really,
He can't
really
skate
he
anymore.
can't skate, but if he wants to, he can shut down a player.
Oh yeah, he can. He did that for a while in St. Louis. And then who's on that left wing? Jake DeBrusk.
Jake DeBrusk is
He's
on
so
fire.
filthy, man.
He's on fire right now.
He's a beauty too.
All right, so X factors for this, for Toronto.
David. Oh, sorry. Toronto would be. I'm gonna go William Nylander.
I mean, that's not a bad pickup. I think it's going to be John Tavares.
Actually, can I change my pick?
Just gonna
Yeah, you
say
can.
that too.
Nazem Kadri. If he can get under the skin,
Yeah, sure.
it's just like a Kachuk, man, and he's skilled. If he can get under the skin of Boston and terrorize them, it can change a series.
Yeah, I'm going to go Johnny
He's
T.
stuck on Tavares.
I think this Toronto team goes as far as Johnny T takes them.
I don't believe in
It's,
Tavares as much as I believe. I think Marner's carrying him.
That's the thing though, is that like
Marner's got that big.
they're
smile.
playing well together. Is the thing. Is
Yeah, they got chemistry.
Yeah, they have chemistry, but my X factor for Toronto is gonna be.
I just think like Boston's wave after wave. Tavares isn't
Yeah.
as quick as most people say he is.
Okay, what about for Boston? Well, I guess.
Well, we got to give Josh a
Josh
break.
just doesn't talk.
He just doesn't want to. He's like zoned out.
Yeah, I'm sleepy. I had an early morning and a late night.
X factor for the
Fuck, I don't
Maple
know. I think
Come on, you're the goalie guy. Give us-
Marchand will be Marchand and just get in everybody's heads. Boston has been in Toronto's heads for like 4 years now.
Fair.
So
So X factor.
I think the whole freaking team,
Who's
Oh,
the next
it's
whole
all-
one?
freaking team
Okay.
is
defeats quite
So Boston X factors.
Yeah.
I'd go with David Pasternak. That guy's filthy. If he can snipe, because he scored a lot in last year's first round series. If he can keep sniping and just terrorize Freddie Anderson, there's no chance.
Jake DeBrusk. I think that if this guy could get points on Matthews' line and potentially get points for that line instead of Matthews getting points with his line, I think that second line matchup is the biggest matchup in the whole entire series.
I think so, too.
Whoever wins that series, like that battle, wins the series, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Fair.
I'd go along with that. Like, if Jake DeBrusk can, because Krejci and Bacchus aren't the quickest, but
Mhm.
if Jake DeBrusk can get that line going, I think it's done.
Yeah.
I would also throw an X factor out the Chara. He's, 39, 40? If he can handle these Leafs, again, for another, like, if he can do it fine against these guys,
He's had
Boston's-
no
I know.
He's not
if
going
if he
anywhere.
can handle the speed of the Leafs, Boston will win easy, but if they somehow burn him every game, they might be fucked.
I'm saying for Boston in terms of
X factor.
and X factor, and as far as Boston will go, I think the top player on Boston is going to be Bergeron.
Yeah.
Bergeron is flying
He's
this
so
year. He is
good.
so good this year, and I really don't think it's going to stop in postseason. I think he's just going to keep going. So my X factor for Boston is going to be Bergeron for the whole time that Boston is going to be in the playoffs.
Josh?
I already said mine.
Oh, Fred Marchand.
All right, next series.
Next series, Washington, Carolina.
We didn't even do X factors for Tampa.
Doesn't matter.
Carolina in 4. I'm kidding.
Jesus.
Washington in 6.
I'm going Carolina.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you want me to be honest? I don't think Carolina's making it. I think
I
they're
don't know.
falling
I
out.
think that I
2
think like
games
Washington.
Yeah, they're 1 point up.
Washington. Oh, really?
It's so dude.
97,
It's
96.
97,
Oh,
96,
yeah,
96, and they all have 2 games
They all have
remaining.
2 games
I
remaining.
think. No, wait, no. It's 97 for Pittsburgh, and then it's like 95, 94, 94.
I think
Yeah.
it's insane that Pittsburgh is in this thing. They're like,
They coasted half the year,
they're,
dude.
they're Pittsburgh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to fight for the playoffs.
But if they lose out and all those other teams keep winning, Pittsburgh could fall out.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we should.
That's what I think. I don't know. I'm going Carolina. Washington. They're a bit of an older team,
Yeah,
and
they
I
just came off
they
the
went
cup
all the way
run.
last year. Like that's the first time they've in a long time that a lot of those guys have gone that far in the playoffs. And I think they're tired.
Think so?
I think they're tired. I know that there's a couple guys like Ovechkin, like Oshie, they want another cup for sure. I don't think they're gonna have the stamina to get through it again. And I think Carolina's
would,
it's been a long time for Carolina, and Carolina's gonna come in flying, trying to make a name for himself again.
Yeah, it all
So,
depends on
Canes
goaltending.
and
I'm going Canes.
In
Yeah,
what?
Canes and what?
Oh yeah, Hurricanes. Okay,
In
I
what?
was like Canes. Who like that's for Hurricanes? They're out. Like
Canes
They're in the
How
NHL.
many
They're not
games-
even in the
how many games
NHL.
left?
I'm going 7.
7?
It's gonna be a long series.
Do you think they're gonna have a storm surge if they win
No,
Game 6?
they're done.
They said that, but then they did win the next game.
Did they?
You had Caps in 6, right, Josh?
I am also Caps in 6. I love watching Washington play. They're so smooth and silky with passing, shooting. Ovechkin just hit 50. He's took the All-Star break off to recuperate. I am not doubting that man.
Fair.
I want him to go swimming in fucking fountains again.
I want that man swimming in some
Doing
fountains
Jersey
again.
drugs too. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Capitals in 5.
Ooh.
I think that I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good away record as well. I can't remember though, but I think that they'll take one in Carolina and then they'll get home and they'll win it all. They'll
Think
win.
so?
Yeah. Like I don't think they're gonna let it go back to Carolina for Game 6. And if that game goes back to Carolina in Game 6, it's going to 7.
Fair enough.
Fair. Okay, what about for X Factors for Washington and Carolina?
Michael Furland.
Just quick.
Michael Furland for Carolina.
Why?
Michael
He's a
Furland
playoff guy, man.
is a monster in the playoffs.
That's fair.
I fully believe 100% that had Calgary not had Furland in that 2015 series against Vancouver, Flames would have lost that series.
Honestly, probably, yeah.
Yeah. And then when they were playing the Ducks in round 2 of that year,
He
was a
stopped
monster.
doing what he was doing.
He was
See,
a
that's the
monster
thing, is
again.
Furley just doesn't seem the same ever since he went to Carolina. He's been, to me, he just doesn't seem like he's pushing as hard as he
Because
was when he was.
I
in
think it's
Calgary.
because he likes
He's staying
Calgary.
healthy.
Yeah.
Because
He's gonna
Yeah,
get
staying healthy.
paid, dude.
Here's what happened. He scored 15 goals in a year, and everyone's like, "Oh, this kid can kind of score."
He can.
And he has that pressure now because he's got to
Right.
score. So he can't be that gritty guy anymore because they're expecting him to score goals now. So he can't go out there and hit people.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he can still score
He can
goals
still-
and hit people.
He still could, but he's not doing it.
That's because he's saving it for the
Okay, what
playoffs.
about for Washington?
Ovechkin.
Fair.
Ovechkin will be Ovechkin
Okay.
and score goals.
I'm gonna go with Kuznetsov for Washington. He led the playoffs in scoring last year. If he can heat up again, his first year in the playoffs, he didn't produce as much. But last year,
He's been kind of disappointing this year.
he's only had like 5 goals and even strength minutes. But playoffs come around, anything can happen. He's got that experience now, and he had over 30 points. Carolina, I'd choose Peter Mrazek or whoever their starting goalie will be.
It'll be beautiful.
If he can play well, they have a chance. If
Um,
not,
I think for Washington, Braden Holtby. I think this guy has to carry this team and be a good goaltender like he was the second half of the playoffs last year. Kind of started a little shaky, but after that, he took off with his team. And I think that's will be the main factor for them. And for Carolina, I'm taking Dougie Hamilton. I think he's been on a roll lately. If he can keep it up, he was a huge reason in Calgary with 54 points last year. I think he's a huge reason for this team to go off offensively. So I think he is their X factor.
he have 18 goals again.
He's got 18 points right.
He's a
19
goal
goals right
scoring
now.
D-man, man. That's one thing I think you guys will regret.
You know what the crazy part about that
Yeah.
is? He went 70. I think it was like 70 some games. He had like 7.
Yeah,
Now
and
he's
then
got
he just
18.
went on a torrid pace.
Washington. Probably just Ovechkin again. Ovechkin's still scoring like a maniac this year, and I just don't understand it. Like the guy's on another level.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
if Carolina can't cover him in the top of the circle there, which in the games that I've watched Washington against Carolina, he's been open for, like he's scored quite a few times against Carolina this year, and just based off of his spot on the top of the circle there, and I think Carolina's, if they can cover that spot, then they can maybe take down Washington. But I mean, still going for Carolina, and then for Carolina, I'm going Aho. Aho's had
That's
a
fair.
wicked season this year, and he's flying. So I think he's going to be able to put up some points against Holtby, on Holtby.
I like the Aho pick. Another thing about the power play, if they slide over to cover Ovechkin, this is why that power play is so successful. Think
dangerous.
of it like this way. If they're boxing up, there's Carlson Ovechkin here. If they're leaning to cover him, you literally have Kuznetsov,
Yep.
Backstrom, who's one of the best passers in the league, and then Oshie in the slot for a 1T. You are leaving everybody else open, and they're
that's the
going to
thing.
score.
And if you don't cover that side, you got to
And then Ovi's gonna
wide
score.
open for that shot, and
You-
it's
I don't know how you combat
I
it.
don't
That's
know
why
how
they're
you
top of the
combat
league. You have to just get the puck down their end and keep them back there. I mean, it's hard.
Would
That's
you say
why
that is one of the top power plays in the league?
100%.
Yeah.
And Ovi, even if he starts to slow down skating wise, he's always gonna have that
He's always
shot.
gonna have a shot.
That power play is never gonna be bad.
I have a question for you guys. Yes, last night Ovechkin was talking about Gretzky's record and how if he stays healthy, he
Ooh.
thinks he can do it. Do you guys think he can do it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's 265, I think, around there.
I thought you said pounds. I was like, holy fuck, he's a unit.
He's a unit.
265-ish goals away from it, I believe. So you guys think he'll do it?
Oh yeah, he's only like what 32, 33.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He can keep playing till he's 40. The
Oh,
man's a unit, and he's really in shape.
And honestly, it's not even about like the speed and this like the skill that he's carrying.
Well,
Like
think what he did
just
last-
straight up, he's gonna get to points in his shot. Like
Yeah.
his shot is just a bullet and nothing's stopping it. Like
Yeah, it's just like Iggy.
it's impressive. Yeah, it's
Think about it.
impressive.
Like he's what 38 now. You said 250 goals he might need.
Yeah, he needs around 260-ish.
That's gonna. I think he was less than that actually.
I don't think so. I think it's 260.
How many goals?
something.
He has 600 goals.
Yeah.
Gretzky's only at 784.
No, Gretzky had 865.
894 actually, I think.
Something like that. I think it's 865.
Let's check quickly.
I'm looking at the.
You're looking at Pittsburgh. You're not even looking at the
I'm
right
100%
side.
sure it's
I clicked on an ad
894 by
on
Gretzky.
Alberta Health Services. So
I'm 100% sure it's 894 by Gretzky. Am I right?
anyways, moving on.
Hold
While
on,
he's
I
finding
want-
that-
I want
while
this
he's finding
answer.
That, we'll move on to the next
Alberta Health Services.
the next matchup here is going to be Islanders and Penguins.
Penguins.
Islanders.
Islanders. No, you're right.
I'm going Pens in 6. Malcolm's coming back.
Sorry, but I love Barry Trotz's coaching.
I have a
Oh.
bias. I'm going Penguins.
Also-
I'm a Penguins fan. I'm going Penguins.
Another
I
X
think
factor.
they can. They're still a strong playoff team. They have so much experience in the playoffs.
Another X factor for Washington. Their goal or their coach.
The coach.
If he,
You know his name.
I don't know his name. I forgot his name. My bad.
I was gonna say Bill Belichick, but I was like, that's not. That's
No,
not.
this is
close to
football?
right. I was like, that's football. That's But anyways,
I almost said Adam Oates, but that was a long time ago.
I'm saying Pittsburgh in 6.
I'm saying Pittsburgh in 6 too.
I'm going with Islanders in 7.
Islanders in 7. Josh.
Yeah, Islanders 7.
Barry Trotz took on the
Okay.
Pens last
X
year in
factors.
6, and he can do it again.
X factors. We'll just do them quick.
Barry
What games
Trotz.
is it gonna be?
Robin Lehner.
I was gonna go later too.
Should I say Laner?
Yeah.
Leonard or Leonard?
Leonard.
Leonard.
Alrighty. Pittsburgh, I'm going with Malkin. And then for the Islanders, I'm going with. Who the hell are they going to start?
Lehner.
Will be Leonard.
Penguins or the Islanders?
I'm going to go with Lee.
Mhm.
Captain of that team. Has that grit.
Can score.
Can score. I think. Also Eberle, because he's started to heat up a little bit. I think he's the main factor for that.
He's never
team, too.
scored in the playoffs.
Yeah, because your team never makes the playoffs.
We made it the
Anyway.
one year with him, and he went 2 series without a goal.
I know, right? But yeah, and then I would say another X factor for Pittsburgh, of course. Malkin and Crosby are the 2 biggest factors. Crosby has 94 points this year.
I go with Letang there. If he can face the forecheck of the Islanders, and because he's a damn good player, but if their forecheck gets on him and he has struggles, Islanders might make this an easy win. But if he can combat that, he will play for.
Fair.
Okay, Josh, go.
I'm
That's
Justin.
Hi,
Justin.
Sorry.
I'm Josh.
I'm sorry.
Happens. Penguins for the X factor. I'm gonna go with Jake Gensel. The guy's just a freaking powerhouse in the playoffs. Like I don't understand where he gets it from, but like when they put him up there with Crosby, like the dude he performs.
You know what it is? They're double coverage.
Yeah.
Crosby
And he's
gets
wide
open.
open. But I think this year being like the 4th year that he's actually been in the playoffs and like hyped up for
boy.
playoffs, I think he's going to be covered quite well. But I think he's still going to put up some points this year for Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
Fair
So,
enough.
all right, boys, over to the Western Conference.
Wait, before we do that, how many goals did he
Oh, yeah.
score?
Gretzky.
You were right.
I knew I was right. 894 on the dot, baby.
And then,
Is that like you pray to Gretzky before bed?
yeah, that's what you
Like,
do.
dear Wayne,
Please come back and be young
please
again.
come back, be young again.
I just recognize it. I think his total points was 2,857.
Nerd.
Yep.
Was it?
I've
Was it actually?
I've done that before too. I have know that number somehow.
All right, before we discuss the first matchup for the Western, Do you think Arizona will be catching Colorado
No.
in the last 2 games?
No.
They played
I
Vegas.
sure hope so.
They're not beating Vegas tonight. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
If they lose to Vegas tonight, it's done.
It is. Yeah.
Colorado's in.
Colorado plays Winnipeg.
They are 4 points behind. They would have to. Colorado will have to lose both games, and Arizona will have to win.
Also,
Who's
go over
Colorado?
those matchups with Colorado and Calgary again. What's the series? 3-0.
Is it? Is it?
It is.
Nathan McKinnon.
So
Nathan McKinnon.
Yo, we beat them when they had that full line. What do you mean?
Nathan McKinnon.
So what?
Nathan McKinnon.
Johnny Gaudreau has more points than Nathan McKinnon.
Does he? Nathan McKinnon's like 2 points away from 100.
Ooh, Colorado.
So is Johnny.
So they're right
Boys.
beside each other.
Arizona and Vegas tonight, but it's also Winnipeg and Colorado.
Yeah, but,
So
either
Colorado's
there's a
getting
chance
in.
that Colorado's gonna lose to Winnipeg.
There's a chance, but also
I think it'll come down to it. If Arizona comes out with a win tonight, and Colorado loses tonight, it's gonna be tight, and I think Arizona might be able to do it. But
I don't in that sense because Darcy Kemper got hurt.
No, he didn't.
Uh-oh.
He got hurt that game though. He got a stick right to the
Yeah.
eye.
That's true, but he's playing tonight.
Is he? Well, it's just because they need
they
him to.
need him. Yeah, they
I don't.
have
He
choice
might
at
not
this
be
point.
fully healthy for that.
Okay. Well, anyways, then Colorado and Calgary.
Calgary in 5.
Calgary in 6.
I think it's going 7. I
know.
think it's going 7, but I think Calgary's gonna take it.
I'm gonna say Calgary just because I'm gonna pick them in my bracket, obviously.
Yeah.
By the way, we are gonna be doing that for our followers and ourselves, and we're probably gonna have a bet with
Next
ourselves.
Friday.
Maybe $20 each or something like that. 25.
Actually, wait.
20 cents.
How about $10 each?
$10 is fine.
When did the playoffs start?
April 9th.
April 9th.
And then it ends on the Saturday. I think the playoffs start on the Wednesday and the Monday or Tuesday. It's a
So
draft
should we do
lottery.
a special podcast on Tuesday?
Good.
Let's do it.
Or maybe like Wednesday after the first night of games.
No. We gotta do it before.
Before.
Because then all the games are
Oh yeah,
not
because
played.
then we're
quick,
locked
like,
in.
we'll
We
do a
okay.
quick,
Here's
like,
what we do:
15-minute
make your
segment.
bracket this weekend or
Okay.
whenever it opens, and then we'll all come here and tell each other the picks we made before it locks.
Cool. Yeah, we'll just do like a quick 20-minute segment.
Yeah.
Just do, like,
Um, I'm gonna vote Calgary to win just because I can't go against them just because they finished first in the West. I'm gonna be cheering for Colorado
Of course you
just
are.
to combat you fuckers. And I just takes like an enormous skill. Like, would you say Nathan McKinnon's a top 5 player in the league? I would.
I would.
McKinnon? Oh, absolutely.
Top 10, absolutely,
10, absolutely.
borderline top 5.
Yeah.
Borderline top
And he's still really young. He's only 2 years
Yeah,
older than McDavid.
he's
He's
still
like
got a
24.
lot of time in him.
Should we go over our top 5?
No, not yet.
No.
Let's finish this shit. Either way, though, top 5 players, they carry their teams in the playoffs. I'd say Johnny Gaudreau's a top 10 player. I think McKinnon's better than him.
By the way,
McKinnon's
Johnny-
also a center. He has more impact on the game. If he can carry his team with Grubauer playing as good as he is,
That's the thing.
he
I don't
might do
think
it.
that- I
By
don't
the
think
way-
that McKinnon by himself can carry Colorado.
By
he's
the
got
way-
Rantanen coming back, and Barry played well.
By the way, Johnny has 98 and McKinnon has 97.
Okay, so they're close.
So-
They're close, yeah.
But
McKin-
Johnny still has more. You can't say McKinnon without saying Johnny. Just
Gaudreau's
saying.
also had a lot more help this year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that's why they're
But
gonna win so easily.
I think that's why like Calgary is going to take it, is because they do have more depth. They have more chemistry than Colorado, I would say. And they just perform as a team a bit better than Colorado does.
I think. How do I word this? I don't know about Bill Peters in the playoffs. I haven't seen
That's
him in the
fair.
playoffs. He was on the bench with Mike Babcock, but that was 2008. The game's changed. How is he going to run matchups? How is he going to do shit like that?
Yeah, the one thing that is going to have to change, and I've noticed that a lot of teams are catching up on it, is the breakout on the power play,
Oh my God, I hate
and
it.
just the breakout in general for the Flames
hate
is
it.
the same thing every time. It's Gio or Anderson taking it up to the blue line,
Or
red
mine.
line,
And dropping it back
and
to
dropping
Johnny.
it back to
Back to
Gaudreau.
Johnny.
Gaudreau takes it, loses it at the blue line. Because teams
Gaudreau tries to be too
teams have
cute.
seen that they do this every single time,
I mean,
and that needs
yeah.
to change.
And Chicago does that too with Kane, but you got to
Yeah.
change it up.
You need
Like,
to change it
get
up,
somebody
yeah.
behind the net and do like two people on each side swinging around, go as a unit, and get some passes. Maybe do a flying V for fuck's sakes.
Yeah,
Get
like
it
I was
in.
watching last night, the game last night.
You gotta go.
The game last night, I was watching it, and multiple times Rasmus Anderson would come up and he would look back and he'd pivot to look back to see where Gaudreau was, and there was
Clean
someone
entry.
on him every time because they knew exactly what was going to happen, where the puck was going to go, and when it was going to go.
Even when you think about that, then if they're going in, like they have one person behind, so they have 4. They got a person on Gaudreau. That's a 4-on-3 entry. You can easily
You
get
can
in the
easily
zone.
get in the zone, yeah, and they they still try to drop it back to Gaudreau.
That's where Peters has to adapt. I
They
think.
need to fix that.
Yeah. If I'm Calgary, what I do is I put that second line against McKinnon's line and try to get Kachuk
Oh,
to
yeah.
get in one
Oh,
of
yeah.
them.
100%.
100%, yeah.
But then again, Colorado took Nashville to 6 last
True.
year. It can happen again, and playoffs are playoffs. You never know. Riddick hasn't played playoffs yet. Smith has.
I think
Smith's
he's
also a
playing Smith,
sieve. It might happen.
Smith's also a sieve.
I don't know. I'm going to go Calgary, but don't underestimate Colorado. First
I'm
rounds are
not
fucked.
underestimating them. I just think that Calgary is just a deeper team to the point where they're going to win. Like, the defensive core on Colorado is literally Tyson Barrie and Eric Johnson. That's it.
Yeah, Zadarov's good.
All right,
I don't trust his
X Factor.
He's okay. He's okay.
X Factors. Calgary.
Maddie Kachuk.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Chucky. I think if Kachuk can get into anybody's head, literally anybody, doesn't matter who it is. Honestly, I would aim for Grubauer. I think Grubauer is mental.
Really?
He's not that good.
I go for Nathan McKinnon, and he pisses. He's got an easy temper to get onto.
He's got an easy temper, but I think that Grubauer, remember at the beginning of the year how bad he was? I think that's getting to him mentally. I think if they can get him under his skin,
That could also be a detriment if he goes after a goalie, though.
it's true.
I think X Factor for Colorado for me is going to be Rantanen because they're going to be covering. Why can I not think of his name? We just talked about it. McKinnon. They're going to be covering McKinnon pretty heavily because they know that he's going to be the top guy, and I think that's going to leave Rantanen open a lot.
Yeah, and
And
Rantanen's
he's
good.
just coming back from injury. He's rested. He's ready to go. Like he's going to be pretty hot. But boys, I said it last night in the group chat. My wild card, my X factor for the playoffs is Derek Ryan. I absolutely love that guy, man. He's not the greatest with the puck, but like, dude works. Like he is digging in the corners every possible chance he's got. And I think he's going to keep it going. He's going to try to make a name for himself in playoffs this year.
The path he took to the NHL is crazy, too. He played in the WHL for like 5 years, played 5 years at U Sports at U of A, and then
Yeah.
signed a contract, worked his way up from the AHL, made his NHL debut at 31, and now he's a 30-point third-line center.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Like
that
the
fucker
dude
worked.
He's working. He's working hard, and yeah, he's my X factor.
Bill Peters
it's a
loves
different
him,
one,
too.
but yeah, and that's the thing too is like Bill Peters will put him out there in any possible chance he's got.
Mhm.
Like if you watch it, like he's been playing with like Kachuk and like Lindholm and Gaudreau, Monahan. Like he's played with every forward on that team, and like. He does the same thing with any forward. He still puts out.
I might change my Flames X Factor, though. Sam Bennett. When's this fucker going to break out? He could
He's
break
gonna
out this season.
Soon. It's gonna happen.
That
soon.
or he's just going to be a third-line player, which
I
is
think it's gonna
fine,
happen
but
in 2
fourth
years.
overall?
Yeah.
That's like Jesse
Peter
Puljujarvi borderline.
I just want to
Must.
say about Rantanen, he's missing the last 2 games of the season with an undisclosed injury. Might be missing some games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring something up about Sam Bennett. I saw in an interview the other day. The Lanny stash is coming back.
Oh.
He has agreed that he is bringing it back. Boys,
That's huge.
that's huge.
Um,
And I think Bennett, he might actually be a pretty big like factor in the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
if he plays like he did in Vancouver series a couple years ago, I think he's got it.
What about James Neal? You think he's going to actually show up? Because he's been starting to. He woke up a little bit there in the last couple of games,
I
but
think-
last night he was slow.
What team did you
we-
play when you got 4 points?
He didn't have 4 points. He's had 4 points in the last 4 games.
4
Okay,
points last
who
week.
did he
got
play the
two-
best against?
I would say the best he played
San
against was
Jose.
San Jose.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. I was going to say if it was LA or Anaheim,
No,
those are bottom feeders.
No, Anaheim, yeah, he was shit last
No,
night.
he was
against
shit
Anaheim.
last
He was
night,
awful.
but,
So maybe he'll wake up. I doubt it.
I'm hoping he does. If he doesn't, then like
I
that was
think
the biggest waste.
if
of
we
money
make
that
a deep
Calgary
run-
spent this year.
if we make a deep run, I think he'll score 5 goals-ish, but it won't be
Total?
Like, total.
Okay.
If we have a deep run, I think
Fair.
if we go to the 3rd round and he has 5 goals, I think that's good for him. But I don't think he'll do any better than that.
Fair.
All right. Next matchup, San Jose Vegas. That's a tough one. That's going to be a good series to watch, man.
I have mine.
I'm going with San Jose. I value defense in the playoffs a lot. Even I'm mostly an offense guy. Defense in playoffs matters. It wins championships.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'd take Carlson, Burns, and Vlasic, those 3, over any of the fucking Vegas defensemen. Schmidt, Theodore.
I do like Schmidt, though.
I like Schmidt and Theodore. They're really good. But who's after that? Nick Holden, Braden
Derek
McNabb,
Eglin?
Derek England, Braden McNabb, John Merrill. It's not even close that wise.
Yeah.
But the matchup is going to be those Vegas forwards versus San Jose's. Who performs better offensively will win that series.
Yeah.
And San Jose goaltending, I don't know. I'm going with my defense, though. Carlson, he dragged the Senators with basically one ankle to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
He might do it again.
I'm going Vegas. I'm not sure how many games. I'm not going to state how many games because I actually don't know at this point because that's going to be a tough series.
I think it's going 7.
I'm thinking it might too. My X factor straight up for Vegas is going to be Fleury.
Mm-hmm.
Fleury's just been on another level of goaltending this year, and like he's not slowing down. So
I'm gonna go with San Jose.
There you
I
go.
actually hope for San Jose because I do not want to play Vegas in that second round.
fair.
They don't lose very much at home, dude.
Yeah, they don't. So I'm gonna go with Vancouver. Main factor being Eric Carlson.
Vancouver?
Sorry, Vancouver.
Wait a second.
Wait, what? They're in the playoffs?
Jesus Christ. San Jose. Sorry, Jesus. San Jose. I'm gonna go in 6, but I think the main factor for it is Eric Carlson coming back from injury. I think.
Yeah.
I think that'll just bolster their defense to the point where they can stop that top line at least. I don't think they'll stop the Pacioretty line. I think they'll stop the Carlson line, but I don't think they can stop Mark Stone and all of them.
Yeah, fair.
And I think Eric Stone.
Eric Stone.
I should stop talking.
Mark Stone.
Yeah, Mark Stone
Uh,
and Carlson are going to have a fun little fight.
name guy Mike.
I'm
Dude, he's
having a
better
rough
than
one.
freaking Jarvis Laundry from last week. God damn. that was
Laundry.
brutal. Laundry.
Okay, my X factor for San Jose.
Rodriguez.
My X factor for San Jose would be Martin Jones. They need him to be on top of his game if they want to go past the first round.
See, the thing about Martin Jones is he just wins.
He does good in the playoffs. I don't know though. Vegas is X factor for me. I don't know. It's gonna be one of their. I'm gonna go with Riley Smith. He's been
Not bad
heating
X
up, and they
factor.
got chemistry on that top line. That top. Well, I don't know if that's their top line.
I
Maybe
don't
second
even
line.
know.
But Marchessault,
I think they
Carlson,
switch
Smith.
it like
on.
every
Yeah,
game.
I think he's a really good player. If he can get to Jones early, there might be a chance.
Think about it that way. That is scary that they have 2 lines that they consider a first line.
Yeah, honestly.
For San Jose, I'm going to go with Vlasic. I think if he can stop one of those lines, I think that's going to help them in so much. And I think for Vegas, I'm going to go with William Karlsson. I think he's been heating up lately, and obviously they haven't been going on a run, but he's been playing well lately. And I think if he can make that top line better than it is, I think they can win it.
Yeah, that's fair.
For San Jose, I'm going Eric Carlson. San Jose has already proven that they can make a run in the playoffs with the team that they had before Carlson. And like you were talking about, Carlson carried a lot of Ottawa through playoffs last year, and like with an injury too. And if Carlson can come back into the playoffs with a full full health on him, like he's gonna be pretty big. And then for Vegas, I'm going Flower. Fleury is just, oh god, I love that guy, man. He is insane.
He's a fun player to love.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
easy player
He's-
to love.
Yeah, like he's just so fun to watch too. Like,
He's a good guy, I think.
yeah,
All right,
Oh,
next
man,
series.
these
Next
Next 2
series.
series is going to be tough.
yeah. Winnipeg, Dallas.
Winnipeg.
Dallas.
Fuck off.
Dallas in 6, Ben Bishop. And I think Sagan and Jamie Benn have heated up to the point where I think they will be able to. That first line is insane. Klingberg's been playing well all year. Ben Bishop, if he actually plays, I don't know if he
I'm
does.
interested to see Heiskanen
And Heiskanen
in
did
that
it
playoff
too.
series. That kid's so good.
As much as I love Hellebuck, I don't trust him this year.
I don't either, but I'm still going Winterpeg.
Yeah, Winterpeg.
Hell yeah.
Winnipeg's just. This is what, like their 3rd year now of being in the playoffs, and like
They're ready.
Both last 2 years, like they went pretty far. Like last year, losing to Nashville, like they're pretty pissed off. And
Well,
I
Vegas even.
Vegas, sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
Vegas.
yeah.
Yeah, Nashville.
They beat Nashville because Arena shit the bed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Winnipeg is gonna take it.
I do too. Mainly because I think there's a player that was interviewed outside the playoffs. He was talking about who might go deep. They said Winnipeg because one, they can play with, they have skill. They're also freaking huge. They can play the physical. They can play any game you want to. It's gonna come down to goaltending.
Yeah.
Can Hellebuck keep him in it? We'll see.
That's why I have Dallas.
Is it backup right now?
Laurent Brossoit.
I like Braswell a lot.
I don't think
He was the Oilers' backup last year, and he wasn't bad. He's put up
9.26
really
this year.
good numbers as Winnipeg's
9.26
backup.
this year, yeah.
Just shows defense can help numbers.
Oh, I guess that's
X
true.
factor.
Winnipeg's defense is coming back this playoff. I'm still gonna stick with that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good pick. They're a good team.
Very good team, man.
They got Zuccarello coming back too. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Just you into my X Factor.
Okay. All right, go with the X Factors. Yeah,
So
you're next.
Zuccarello for Dallas. I think if he continues that chemistry that he's had that he had that first game that he played with them, it's kind of sad that he got out the first game. But I think if he continues that chemistry with that line, I think that's going to go a long way for them. And I think for Winnipeg, Patrick Laine. If Patrick Laine scores goals, they're going deep, 100%. If he can get 9 or 10 goals in the first 2 or 3 series, they're going deep.
My X Factor will be Kyle Connor, 30-goal man.
Same line.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I think he'll get the majority of the goals. They'll key in on Laine. Laine can pass. He's got his mojo back.
Mhm.
Dallas, I'm going Miro again. I love Heiskanen.
That's right.
He's a great player. What was I gonna say? Zuccarello hasn't been in the playoffs since 2015.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the year they got knocked out by the Penguins and Matt Murray in the first round. The year before that, I completely forgot the Rangers went to the final in 2014. Wait, was it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't been there since that time in the first round. He's gonna be hungry.
That's a valuable experience right there.
He's gonna be hungry.
I'm going line A for Winnipeg. He performs. He's got a lot of goals on him, and I think he's gonna keep going. Dallas. I don't even know. I'm Bishop.
Yeah,
I
there
think
you go.
probably Bishop, just based off the fact that Dallas performs offensively. They're a decent team defensively. It's gonna come down to their goaltending, and if Bishop can show up and play the game that he's known that he can play, I think they can.
And it's not even
They
just
go far,
Bishop,
but I
it's
mean-
Hudobin too.
Hudobin's
Yeah.
good.
If Hudobin plays or Bishop plays, they have a solid 9.25 plus goalie in net, no matter what.
All right, last matchup: Nashville, St. Louis.
St. Lou.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that.
Nashville.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going with Blues in 7.
Okay.
Tarasenko's gonna go off.
Okay.
All right, Nashville, and I want to say 6. Just Nashville's been fighting for so long. They've 2 years ago in the finals to lose to Pittsburgh. Oof. Making it again next year, last year, losing again. They're pissed off. They're done losing, and I think they're gonna come back. And my X factor for Nashville is gonna be PK. PK,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be playing a strong
Nashville's
postseason
been
game.
struggling to score
That's
goals
what I've been
lately.
saying. More on that. So I picked St. Louis because I'll touch on them after. But Nashville, they rely on their defense a lot to score, and lately they've had less than 5. Those top 4, so Ekholm, Yossi, Ellis, Subban, had less than 5 points each in a 10-game slide. And Rene is either really good in the game
Yeah.
or he's really bad.
Yeah. There's
It's
no
inconsistency, and you can't have that. Arvidsson might make it close. They have a good forward depth, and they have good D, but they need to wake up. St. Louis has been, they were in 31st in January, and they climbed this far back that they might even get first in the division. They're all tied.
Fair.
That's the thing, though. It might be Dallas.
It might be Dallas versus St.
If
Louis.
that series happens, St. Louis is back.
And then we get Winnipeg, Nashville in the first round.
That's an insane first matchup.
Oh, the West,
And
they're
I'm
going to
going-
beat each other up, both sides. The East is winning the Cup this year.
I don't know.
The
That's
Flames
what I'm
might
saying.
get through. This is. I'd hate to admit it. They have the easiest walkthrough if they can beat Colorado.
If they can beat Colorado,
Because
though,
Vegas or San Jose is going to be hurt.
Yeah, San Jose and Vegas, that game, I think that series is going 2-7, and I think that series is going to be a hard-hitting, intense, fast series, and they're going to be tired when they come out of it. And in terms of a Flames fan, I would say probably San Jose would be the better bet. Vegas doesn't lose at home.
Yeah.
Straight up, they don't, and it's. Mind you, Flames do have the home ice advantage, but still, Vegas
Vegas
does
is
not
good.
lose at home.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. And so, yeah, I'll go St. Louis. I like their defense. Their forwards, they're 3 lines deep. And they got Robbie Fabry back. That kid's missed 2 seasons with double ankle surgery, ACL surgery. Yeah, he might be an X factor for me, honestly. And I love Bennington right now.
Yeah,
I think Nashville, since they had that really good win streak in November, I think it was, they've been 500. It's been
struggling to score.
they've been 40 and 40. They just win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They've been struggling to score, like you said. They need to peak sooner or later, or they're going to get first rounded.
Yeah.
Lucky for them, they have a lot of good players on long-term contracts. They'll be able to maintain their success. They have to get over that hump if they want it.
All right, for X Factors, so you had
Um,
X Factor.
Arvidsson and Bennington for each team.
It was Marcus Granlund.
Ooh, I completely forgot he got traded there. What has he done?
He doesn't do anything. That's why I
So-
think he's my X Factor. He's got to do some stuff. I think he's got to get going. And for St. Louis, again, I just said it before, Tarasenko.
Yeah.
If he goes off, this offense is deadly.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on PK for Nashville.
Which kind of changed my
And
answer.
then I was going to take a Tarasenko too as well.
Another
Tarasenko
player
show.
I'd look out for St. Louis.
It's the Tarasenko show this year, boys.
Vince Dunn, yeah. What?
Tarasenko show this year.
Oh, yeah. What's the last one?
That was the last one.
Okay, let's touch on Detroit for right now. 6-game winning streak. My
Tyler
personal
Bertuzzi.
favorite, Tyler Bertuzzi, Little Bert.
Although I would say it's more Larkin.
Larkin, Mantha, and Bertuzzi. That line's been fire, dude.
That's a scary lineup. And Athanasiou on that second line is
Yeah.
solid too.
Detroit's not bad, and they got Zadina. They're gonna have a good team after
I
they get all
hope-
those defensemen off the books.
I hope that they get the first overall.
I do too. Teams that win, like, they've been out of it for a while. The fact that they're still playing so fucking hard to win games, reward them.
Yeah.
Let them get a fucking first, second, or third pick. Let them have talent. They still played the season. They've been 6-game winning streak. Why not? Like I get these teams. Some of these teams are like bad, like Edmonton, whatnot, New Jersey. They're losing because they don't have enough talent. I wouldn't say Detroit's all that skilled either, but they're still winning. Teams are underestimating them. They're coming out flying. Like, reward them with something. I think that will pay off with the hockey gods.
Yeah.
What was the next topic, Mike? Did you have anything else?
Oh yeah, I had reward predictions.
Okay, let's do that quickly. We still got 30 minutes before his next class.
Dude, the Metropolitan is insanely close.
Yeah, it's scary.
Ridiculous.
It's very scary. I want Carolina, and they've been busting their ass,
I
dude.
know.
I don't care about Montreal. Actually, you know what? Fuck Columbus. Why? They're gonna lose 4 people anyways. Fuck
Alright,
it.
ready? I'm gonna say a champion or thing, and you're gonna go on with it. Norris, best defenseman.
Jill.
Gio.
Yeah.
Gio, cool.
Even Doughty agrees. He's like Burns gets burned 4 times a game. Giordano can play D and he posts points.
Gio's got it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
If he doesn't, I'd be surprised.
Bing, sportsmanship.
That's what the meaning is, sportsmanship.
I don't even know.
Whatever defenseman or forward has taken like the least amount of penalty minutes and is a good
that's what I was
player.
thinking.
As long like if he's played majority of the season with like less than 5 PIMs, and he's just a really decent player that just doesn't take penalties because he plays the right way,
Gio.
give it to him.
Yeah.
Gio really doesn't take PIMs?
He's a fan.
I thought he takes some PIMs. He's a pretty emotional leader.
But he's also a finalist, and I don't really know any other finalists.
He's a finalist?
He's a finalist.
How many finalists do they have? 3?
Every team has a finalist.
Oh, okay. No, that was for the Clancy. Yeah. So yeah, whatever. Let's just pick forward or D-man. Least amount of
Vezina.
penalties is good. Vezina.
It's getting tougher and tougher.
I know. I'm gonna go with Benny B. Bishop.
Oh, okay. I gotta go Vasilevsky. Even though he's on such a great team,
He's a great goalie to
he's
watch.
a great goalie to watch.
But
And
most valuable goalie to their team?
Louis Domingue loses a lot of games. No, he didn't.
No, he's won quite a
Yeah,
bit.
he's won it.
Tampa's got like 16, 17 losses on the year. That's it. They've got 60 wins.
That was me trying to think of a reason to say Vasilevsky's been so good. But no, I'm gonna go with Vasilevsky.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to say Ben Bishop.
You should.
Bishop played a hell of a year this year. Like, and
That's
It's
why I
not a
think
wild
they
card
can-
team.
That's
Yeah.
why I think they can beat Winnipeg.
Yeah, it could happen.
Bishop has been very strong.
Note to self, don't go play any pucks past the net line.
Don't do it. Selke, who demonstrates the most skill in the defensive component.
Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah, you can't really argue that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go either Kopitar or Bergeron, but I think Bergeron's gonna take it.
You say
Like,
Burns?
No, Bergeron.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
No. Also,
Bergeron's just like honestly,
Actually,
Bergeron
no.
is just he's a god.
He's been
Like,
good since
he's just so
2003.
good, yeah.
It's a 15-year career.
you know who I want to win it? Lindholm. I think that whole entire line has been solid skating back on D and just.
I think
Yeah, it's
they're
usually a
solid,
center. It's usually a center though.
But yeah,
Johnny won it a couple years ago.
I didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No,
Yeah.
you were on the bench.
Oh yeah. Why are those so freaking
The
similar?
Selke is the best two-way forward that
I
produces
know, right?
offense.
And they're so similar.
Yeah.
Too, but
I wouldn't consider Johnny a two-way forward though. What the fuck is that? A fart?
no, it was a yawn.
Oh,
Hart.
Gooch,
MVP.
Gooch.
Gooch, Goochie, Gooch,
Gooch.
Gooch,
Kucherov.
Kucherov.
Sure. Kucherov. I don't even know, man. I'm not good with the
He's
awards
like
and shit.
nearly 130 points. That's honestly the most valuable player
Oh,
this season. Despite Tampa's success, they wouldn't be where they are if it was 130 points. He's factored into 130 goals,
Yeah.
or he's going to hit that milestone here soon. I think he's at like 125-ish.
So Clancy, which is leadership.
Leadership?
Gio.
Honestly, Gio.
Yeah, I'd say Gio too. Lindsay.
Ted Lindsay, Connor McDavid. That's most outstanding players. Like, just based on skill. Nothing like... It'll be McDavid or Kucherov.
Yeah.
McDavid's won it the last 2-3 years. He's been in the league.
I'm gonna go with Kucherov.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
going with McDavid.
Like Tampa's just been a powerhouse, but like
Kucherov. Without Kucherov,
and like Connor McDavid has carried a lot of Edmonton, but like
Draisaitl was
Kucherov
there
has
too,
like this is by far the best.
This is
year
voted
so
on by
far
the
for
players, by
Kucherov.
the way.
This is by far the best year for Kucherov.
Yeah.
100%.
This is voted on by the players, though, and last 3 seasons they picked McDavid.
Fair.
I'm going to go with McDavid again. That's his award. That's going to be his award for the next.
Yeah, it's just because
while.
he's so young and he's doing so much for
And
Edmonton
he's
as
so
an
good.
organization. Like it's insane.
And players respect him that much.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it'll be McDavid. Kucherov could easily win it, though.
Yeah.
Next one.
Hold on, no. So the Mark Messier Leadership Award. What?
I think the Clancy was like in the community type of shit. I don't follow any of that. I don't know if
I
Gio
don't
goes
know,
to like
yeah.
hospitals or
So
the Sedins won it last year, I think.
So Gio
Subban.
again.
Yeah. What?
Subban.
Yeah, I'll go with Gio for
Gio
like Mark
again.
Messier.
I think that's all the awards. I mean, William Jennings. Is anyone not gonna say Bishop?
Well, that's not Vezina, right? It's wins. Or
No,
goals
Will-
against average.
Yeah. So
Is Bishop in front?
he's way
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, then he's
Is he?
getting
I
it.
thought Leonard was up there too.
No, he's not quite there yet. He's at like 9.
We'll go with Bishop.
And yeah, that's all the ones I got. Oh, Coach of the Year.
John Cooper, baby.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going Trotz.
I'm going John Cooper. 60 wins is unheard of.
True.
That's happened only twice before, which is by Montreal, and I think, who was the other team I'm thinking of? There's another one. One of the Montreal teams in the 70s got over 130 points, and then I think it was one of the Islanders teams, honestly, back in the day, but I can't remember.
Boston.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll double check that after the podcast, but I'm going John Cooper. 60 wins, it's hard to get to. I get he has all those players. He's kept them a well-running, oiled machine the whole
Yeah.
season.
I'm still going with Trotz.
I love Trouts, too.
I'm going with Trotz.
Yeah.
I think that team. Nobody expected them to be in the playoffs right now. Everyone expected them to be the low
Yeah.
bottom of the conference.
I expect them to go for a
I
hat
think
trick.
that's one of the reasons, though, why he went to New York. I think he saw something in that team that no one else saw, and I think that's why he went there and decided to take over there.
It's also a factor, and that was the only team without a head coach when he got released.
That too.
He could have waited, but if he just won a cup, he wants to get back on the bench.
Do you imagine if Barry Trotz coached the Flames? How unreal would they be?
Man, if the Oilers would have fired McClellan during that summer,
yeah,
he could have coached McDavid, and he would have came here to do that too.
You would.
Oh, 100%.
Like, come on, like, why didn't they think? That would have been such a, like, he would have fixed our power play, the way we play.
And I guess we'll end on Tyler just having a complete mental breakdown about the Edmonton Oilers.
My team depresses me.
And then
So-
I'll just throw an extra award in there just for fun. Best team in each conference.
Well, can
Tampa.
we do we have to pick the top point getter, or can
No,
this be
no.
on opinion?
Opinion.
Okay, Tampa, obviously.
Tampa.
You guys are gonna crucify me if I don't say Calgary, but
I'm not going to crucify you. It's your opinion.
No, just kidding.
fuck, man, I don't know. I want to say San Jose. If they've had goaltending at all this year, they would be near you guys or above you.
Yeah.
Can't argue that, no. But
I'm going to say Calgary just based off the fact that they have had
They've had a great
easily
season.
a record
Yes.
season for Calgary.
Oh, 100%. And I can't discount that.
Yeah.
I just like San Jose a little bit better.
Yeah, especially for if you look at we go back to the beginning of the season when the first weeks first started. If you looked at the fantasy draft teams and stuff like that, there was only 2 teams that didn't have a single player drafted into fantasy, and it was Calgary and Montreal. Montreal. They're still fighting, but not as good. But for Calgary to be projected this year as one of the worst teams in the league to be the best in their conference and their division, impressive.
What?
Impressive.
You said that was a fantasy magazine?
Yeah.
Those people over
They overestimate the crap out of everything.
not just that, but I get it. They really value Dougie Hamilton. He's good analytically, and he puts up points. They weren't expecting Lindholm to come in and have a 70-point season,
Yeah.
or Hannafin to be that good on the blue
Yeah,
line,
good.
as he's been.
Um,
So Calgary surpassed a lot of my expectations.
They were not I did not expect them to be as good as they were.
If they're not
coming
first,
into
or
the season.
I remember I was at work, and I was walking off to go get a walkout to go home, and I checked my phone, and it was that loss to Pittsburgh. That
Oh,
I
yeah.
got
Oh, 9 to
absolutely-
fucking
That
1.
9-1 loss. Yeah,
And I looked at that, and I was like, "We're done. We're gonna be the worst team in the league. It's gonna be over." And then next week we had a 7-game win streak.
Yeah,
And we went
and
on that tear.
it was including the one against Vegas too, the 8-2 win against Vegas too. I
Yeah.
remember that, and I was like, "Well, don't count them out yet." That
Yeah.
was that was pretty early on in the season.
And that's when they took off, and I was like, "Well, they're gonna run with it."
yeah. So
Anything else you have for a topic? I
I
got a couple I can touch on.
I feel like we should probably touch on the leagues that are falling apart
Okay,
and stuff like that.
can I introduce that then?
Yeah, go for it.
So CWHL, Canadian Women's Hockey League, folded and their season operations as of May 1st. Which is, that's where, do you guys know who Marie-Philippe Poulin was? That's Canada's top women's players.
Yeah.
So that league folded because they can't afford it anymore.
Huh.
Now the NHL stepped in because they didn't want to support just 2 leagues unequally. Now that the NWHL in the States is there, they have 7 teams, I think. NHL has funded that a little bit more, and they're bringing 2 Canadian teams into that league, which is going to be
Ottawa.
based out of Toronto, Montreal.
Oh, my God.
Calgary's team actually just won their championship.
yeah,
The
what was it
Inferno.
called? Yeah, the Inferno, the Clarkson Cup.
Yeah, there we go.
Um,
Opinions on that?
I think this is actually a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
One league?
I think so
I think
as well.
one league is so much better than having 2 separate leagues, one Canadian, one U.S. I think that
Yeah.
just makes it so much easier. I think they should have kind of like an NHL league for women's players, and I think that they should have an all-star game that has both
Yeah.
men and women
Oh,
together.
100%.
100%.
Those women's players
Those-
are really
yeah.
skilled.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think this year was one of the first years that they actually
Yeah.
brought the women
Yeah.
skaters in to skate.
I think
with
they've been
the
there before,
men.
demo and stuff, but they've never been in the
They've
actual
never been in the
competition.
competition. Were they fully in the competition this year? I think they were just
They
participating.
They let Kendall
with it.
Coyne do it.
Yeah, I
And
wasn't
she
sure.
finished last out of all the NHL players, but she had 5 milliseconds off McDavid's time.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, impressive.
shit.
But
Um,
no, I do agree with you though that it does make a lot more sense to have the one league instead of 2. And I think eventually down the road they will have more than just the 2 Canadian teams.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
And
there
I
should be
think
30
they'll
teams,
branch out
just like in
and
the NHL.
I think it will end
32
up being
teams.
towards what the NHL is, and every NHL, every place that has an NHL team will have an NWHL team as well.
honestly, if they just need to market the women's game a little bit better.
Yeah.
I was watching I think it was their Olympic game one night at 2 a.m.
He's solid.
USA they won the gold over Canada with an insane shootout in
Yeah.
overtime. It was so entertaining to watch. If they can market their league a bit better,
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of women's games live. It's great hockey.
Oh yeah.
Market it.
It's good hockey, man.
And are we gonna say the players playing in this new league, the NWHL, are they gonna be the best women's players in the world? I think they are.
I think they will be.
Pay them like that.
Yeah.
Why does
Exactly.
Where's you did a story on this about the men and women
Mhm.
pay wise and if they
Yeah.
should play in the same league. I don't think they should play in the same league. Pay them equally.
Yeah.
Pay them equally, yeah.
I get-
if they're
yeah.
playing at the same level as the men are, I do believe that they should be playing.
Yeah.
Being paid at the same level.
Like if
as
they're
the
just
men are.
getting paid a regular, maybe really good job, regular 50K, 60K a year.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Look at the NHL players; they're still one of the lower leagues in terms of cap hits wise, but pay these women, give them like 200K.
And that's the thing. I think honestly, at this point, there's just not enough of a
Viewership?
repertoire and like enough of a knowledge around the women's hockey league. Like a lot of the time, if you like go up to an NHL fan and be like, "Oh, like, who's your favorite NWHL team?" And they're like, "What is that?" What
Yeah.
is that? And it's
Hell
like,
yeah, is my
they just need to
favorite
market their
League a bit
league
better.
Yeah,
People care.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's not like they don't have an audience.
Yeah,
like,
we
they
just
have an
need
audience.
TV.
They're fast games. They're like they're good skilled games.
Mhm.
Like
They might not be hitting, but they still do it. They'll
they
get
still
called
hit.
for
Yeah.
it. I don't know. They're really skilled, and people should watch it more. You'll get those assholes. They're like, "Oh, women's
Do you-
hockey sucks."
Do you
Fuck
think
off.
they will implement hitting into women's hockey? Though?
They should.
There was a
I
talk
would,
about
yeah.
it.
It's
There
women
was
on
a talk
women.
about it. I'm not sure if they're going to go through with it, but there was definitely talk.
I would
about
let
it.
them do it.
I don't see why
They're
not.
competing against their own gender. Oh, even if it was opposite, whatever. If they can take it, they
If
can
they
dish
take
it.
they can, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too is like even through like minor hockey and stuff like that, there was the women's league and then there was the men's league.
Honestly,
For-
most of those
for, like-
women's have played in men's leagues growing up.
Yeah,
They're ready
exactly.
for it.
Most girls played in with the guys throughout like minor hockey. They learned that like it's
How
a
to
hitting
take a hit
game.
and how to make
They
it.
learned, yeah, exactly. And like I think they should implement that into
And honestly, most of these
professional hockey.
great women's players, they're built.
Oh
They
yeah.
could knock me on my fucking
Oh, yeah.
ass.
I would definitely start expanding that
Mhm.
new league right now. Start expanding it, get more teams in there.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Do what they've kind of been doing with the WNBA a little bit.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
they expanded their game so quickly and how they were able to bring all these new teams in and like market them. I think they've done a fantastic job. I think people underestimate how good the WNBA is.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I watched the championship game last year. It's pretty solid basketball.
Yeah.
Like sure they don't score as much as the men do. But
Yeah.
that's not a bad thing.
Still
It's not-
entertaining.
yeah, but it's not that they don't like. It's not the fact that they're not scoring as much. Like maybe they're not scoring as much, but the game is still just as intense and like it's still back and forth and like
It's
Like-
still great
Yeah.
entertainment for the sport that you're watching.
exactly. And like you look at like the NBA and stuff like that. Not every single game goes to like 120 to
Yeah.
130. Like there's games that end at like
It's
90,
defensive battle.
90 to 92. Like it's a defensive game. Like people are missing shots and like
Yeah, those
yeah,
losers
it's-
are like, oh, it's not as entertaining because they don't score as much.
yeah.
Honestly,
But it's
I admire what the NBA has been doing lately. Many people will say it's a bush league or it sucks.
Ugh.
They've been really progressive. Adam Silver, I think that's his name.
Yep.
He's done a great job managing that league so far
I love
as
that.
a commissioner. He's done an amazing job marketing, getting women's like they're doing all the right things to market. And look at their stars. All their players are known worldwide. And I think there's like somebody did a video asking people in like Nashville, just random citizens on the street, who Connor McDavid was. Couldn't tell you. Like that's and they could probably tell you who the best basketball players were. We should get
we
more
should,
like the
We
NBA.
should throw up a Twitter posting about the NWHL tonight.
About what? Like
You
what
wanna
would
be
you
like-
include?
you wanna do
in
it?
terms of like, yeah, I could probably put it out there. In terms of like, should the NWHL players be paid at the same rate as
They
Yeah.
of the men's league?
And then if they
should-
select
and then,
no,
like,
explain
and
your
should-
reasoning.
Should contact be omitted into
Yeah.
the
do a couple
NWHL?
polls.
For sure.
Um,
All right, next one. American Alliance of Football.
that is solid football though. I watched some of the games. It's solid.
I don't know what that is.
You don't? It was going to be like a new
Yes,
league. And the Carolina Hurricanes owner, Tom Dundon, I don't know, he had like spent $70 million to get this up and going. It just folded.
Really?
And he lost $70 million.
So what was it? It was just like
So basically,
you
what
might
they
know.
wanted it to be was they wanted the NFLPA
Mhm.
to support it,
Mhm.
and they almost wanted to make it like a minor league type of thing for the players, so they can still play during the summer and show what they got, so they can come back and maybe get a signature from NFL teams. So basically, that's what they wanted to do with it. They wanted to have football longer into the year, and they hoped that the NFL would have helped them and supported it. So players like Hines Ward was a part of it, like Troy Polamalu, and all these different people were a
Yeah.
part of this league. Well, they weren't like a part of like the actual playing, but they were like,
they signed off
Yeah.
and gave their
Yeah.
name to the league.
yeah. So
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think that would have
It
actually
was-
worked out.
Mhm.
it was pretty solid football too. Johnny Manziel was on one of the teams.
Oh yeah, well I mean Johnny Manziel is
Johnny
just something
football.
special. Dude, he's not even in the CFL anymore.
No,
got cut
he
off
left
CFL.
it.
Now he's a free agent again. But basically, what I think this shows is that The NFL does not support other leagues
They
like
don't
at all.
support other leagues.
Just wait until the XFL comes out, and that's gonna be
Oh, man.
stupid. Vince McMahon's it's gonna fold again. Let's
Yeah.
be honest here.
Honestly.
One thing I think they should have looked at to do stuff like is the big three. Like that NBA team, the big three that like retired players could still play, stuff like that. Ice Cube's behind it, AI is behind it. They're expanding their teams right now. I think they have like 7 teams right now. It's 3-on-3 basketball, very entertaining. There's a
Nice.
4-point shot, all this stuff.
That's sick.
Highly recommend watching some of it. It's pretty solid basketball.
Is it on TV or YouTube?
They just signed a deal today with CBS actually.
Oh, nice.
Boom, transitions.
Alright.
Transitions.
Last topic is you got 15 minutes to run the class. Baseball, Kevin Pillar got traded. That's the longest standing member of the Blue Jays. They're basically rebuilding, playing all their
Yeah.
prospects. He was a great player for. Well, no, I wouldn't say great. He was good defensively. He had some really nice catches. I hope he makes the playoffs with the Giants. Blue Jays are rebuilding. Let's see what the kids can do.
All right.
Anything else you guys got for comment on that?
Baseball. Yeah. I don't actually know baseball.
So I'm actually really excited for the Blue Jays season this year. I think that Stroman is going to come back and have a huge season. I think Sanchez is going to have a great season. Schumacher is a fantastic pitcher right now. I think he's going to have a bounce back year from all those years that he sucked in LA. And I'm really excited to see Bo Bichette. I'm really excited to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And just because Ty went over to the TV, I'll stop talking.
No, you can sign it off properly.
All right, so that's yeah, I'm just excited.
My name's Tyler. At
Justin.
Tyler Verloop on Twitter.
I'm Justin.
Technically, you have a
my
team.
Twitter.
Parkin Justin or
Parkin
something.
_J. Something.
Or whatever it was. We'll update it in the bio.
Josh left, but he was here.
At Josh Shunin on Twitter. Mike?
And mine is Michael Cake 1 on Twitter.
We will be posting this on Friday. I think around like maybe noon tomorrow, whatever Mike wants to upload it.
I'll try.
Our Twitter is at Trailer Park Boys. Our YouTube is Trailer Park Boys Podcast. Give it a listen. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you
Like and
next time,
subscribe.
fellas. Like and subscribe.
Smash them like
Till I can't